All right, here we go, back for another class. Today is Wednesday, September 16th, 2020, and I am excited to be back here with you guys explaining this new lesson to you today. So, we are going to be on day 7, Grateful Goods and Superpower Activity. I will get to all that here shortly. But my essential question to you is, what are some things in life that you're grateful for? If you're not sure what grateful means, we will discuss that in the lesson focus. But keep in the back of your mind, what are some ways that you're grateful? So for our daily morning chat box question, I am going to ask you what you had for breakfast. So, what did you have for breakfast? Go ahead and pause the video and write it in the chat box. And when you are done with writing it in the chat box, you may go ahead and restart the video. For today's SEL lesson, we're going to talk about a strong, powerful word. You may not think it's strong and powerful, but realistically it is, okay? You could be on this chat and call right now, and you can be on your cell phone and I wouldn't know, or you could be talking to another and I wouldn't know, okay? That is going to tie in with today's SEL lesson, respect, okay? Now, respect is a huge word, like I said, okay? You're going to watch this YouTube video. It's going to explain respect a little bit better. Even though you think you know what respect is and that you may give full respect, in reality, you might not be given the full respect that somebody deserves. So after the SEL video, you're going to go ahead and pause your computer. Hear it again. You're going to pause the video on your computer. Pause. And you are going to bring it back together, and we're going to talk about a couple of things dealing with respect. I know we just went ahead and talked about these two questions, but I'm still going to throw it out there for you to hear and just recall what we just talked about, okay? So my first question is, what are some ways that you can respect somebody? What are some ways that you can think about in your daily lifestyle respecting somebody? Even if it's just saying thank you or holding a door for somebody or saying excuse me, those are all types of ways of respect, okay? You may not think so, but they're little, but to somebody else, they mean a lot. And that the other person kind of looks for that respect given to them. The next question I have for you is, what are some ways that you disrespect others, even though you may not think that you disrespect them? So one could be someone gives you something and you just take it from them without even saying please or thank you. What kind of respect is that? I mean, somebody's giving you something, typically you say please or thank you. So when somebody's holding the door open for somebody, that's giving respect. But when you just do this and walk out, that's giving them disrespect, okay? We don't want to give somebody else disrespect. We want to respect others, and we want to respect others' property. Like I said, what are some ways that you can think of being disrespectful to somebody, okay? It's not just manners, but there's definitely other ways that you can be disrespectful to people, such as swearing at them, maybe giving a gesture to them that really isn't the best. We want to show outward respect rather than showing outward disrespect. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Looking at respect from a school aspect is definitely a huge word nowadays, because not being able to be physically in person with our students and you guys not being physically in person with your teachers is really hard to balance, okay? So being on the camera definitely needs to have some respect shown. What do I mean by that? I mean, don't be getting on the camera in the middle of your teacher talking and saying rah, 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 okay? Just don't. Just wait till your teacher's done talking and then you guys can talk. If your camera is on, don't be making googly eyes to somebody else, or don't be muting yourself and unmuting yourself and muting yourself and unmuting yourself, okay? Respect the teacher and respect the class. Everybody's in the same boat. We're trying to teach as you guys are trying to learn. So in order for you to learn, you have to be quiet and respect our time. So my last thing I'm going to leave you with is treat others the way that you want to be treated. So if you're walking around calling people names, do you want to be called a name? I know I don't. So I hope that you wouldn't. If you're walking around saying racial slurs or negative comments or whatever it is, do you think people want to hear that? And do you think you want to hear that back? No, just don't do it, okay? Just respect others, respect yourself, and respect your surroundings. That's just the bottom line. Today's lesson focus is also going to be pretty chill and laid back, but it's another strong, powerful word that I just want to bring to your attention and get you thinking about, okay? And that's going to be grateful. So, gratefulness, what does it mean to be grateful? I don't know. You guys are going to go ahead and you guys are going to watch the YouTube video. After the YouTube video, pause it, okay? Because we're going to talk about what it means to be grateful, okay? So, watch your YouTube video and then pause it right afterwards. We're bringing it back together now, and we're going to start to do a little bit of research. Not much, just a little bit, just like we did yesterday with what does it mean to be physically active. So today, you are going to Google, what does grateful mean in your own words, okay? That doesn't mean Google grateful, copy it and paste it. That's not what that means. That means you Google it, you read it, you comprehend it, and you put in your own words what it means to be grateful, okay? Once you get done with that question, you are going to go ahead and Google another question. What is another word or synonym which means same for grateful, okay? So you're going to Google a synonym, which means same for grateful, okay? You're going to then put these two questions, what does it mean to be grateful? And what is another word for grateful? Inside of the chat box. So that way I can read what everyone means to be grateful and another synonym for grateful. So now that we talked about grateful and what it means, and you guys looked up on Google what grateful means, I'm going to give you my example of what it means to be grateful. So here's how I look at grateful. It's something that I'm thankful for. Okay, is that a synonym for grateful? Yes, it is. Okay, so I am most definitely grateful for being able to stand in front of you right now and talk to you and being able to take a breath in and out every second, okay? Because if I wasn't able to take a breath in and out every second, I wouldn't be here, all right? So in other words, I'm grateful for this life that I was given. Again, like I just said, I'm standing here in front of you talking to you, which means I have a job, all right? I am most definitely grateful for having a job in this crazy world because sometimes it really is hard to get a job and others aren't as grateful as me per se, where I have a job and others unfortunately don't. So without the job that I have now, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I like to do, or I wouldn't even be able to buy the shoes or the clothes that I'd like to buy, okay? So without having a job, my life would be falling apart and it wouldn't be as structured as it is. You've heard what I'm grateful for. So again, I'm ready to hear what you're grateful for, okay? So what you're gonna do is, in Microsoft Teams, I'm going to upload your work and it's gonna look like this. Nothing special today, but it's gonna have day 7 at the top of the paper, okay? And it's just a little writing prompt that I wanna know what 3 things or 3 goods that you were grateful for. It could be something as simple as waking up in the morning. It could be something as simple as having a roof over your head. I mean, there are many things that you could be grateful for, but I want to know what you personally are grateful for, okay? So, like I said, you're going to have 3 things to tell me about that you're grateful for, but you also have to explain why. So, your 3 goods, and then explain. Please don't forget the word explain, okay? So like I said about my job, if I didn't have a job, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'd like to do. So again, why are you grateful for your things that you're about to write on your paper? Okay, so bear with me on this next part. I know there's probably gonna be a couple of questions, but I'm gonna explain this the best that I can. In my mind, I felt like this was a really good activity and that this would get your mind going and that you could go ahead and do some research on this. But I don't know if it's going to play out that way. So we're going to give it a shot and we will go from there. Now that I'm getting into the swing of things, I really start to see what's kind of working and what's really not, or where the technology issue and where the technology issue is not. So again, like I said, just bear with me. We're just going to kind of work through this together. And my first period class is going to be my guinea pigs. So they're going to be the ones to try this out. And if it doesn't work for them, we are going to make changes throughout the rest of the day. So with that being said, I am going to post a document in Microsoft Teams that's going to be called Superhero Superpowers. And it's going to look like this. Again, I know you can't download that and type on it, so we're going to have to makeshift, and you guys are going to have to get crafty here in Microsoft Word. So if you guys aren't feeling too crafty and kind of just want to stick to the point and have a little bit more time to do research, by all means, you could do it this way too. So in a blank Microsoft Word document, okay, you will write superhero powers at the top of your blank document. Then you're going to write day 7, with your name. Okay, that's the first step. It's pretty simple. I hope you guys can follow those directions. The second step is you can create a list. So you look like this. Number 1, number 2, number 3, so on and so forth. Okay, I think there's 7 on the paper. But instead of 7, we're actually going to go with 6. All right, so instead of 7, you guys can only do 6. All right? Okay, so remember, I told you that you can only do 1 through 6. That's totally cool. I'm all right with that. Even though the paper says 7, I'm giving you permission to do 1 through 6. All right? So this is where Google is going to come into play. You are going to Google different superpowers and think of ways that they can be used with physical activity. So let me give you an example. So one of my favorite things about teaching is seeing kids' different characteristics and different creativity. Because personally, I am not creative at all, okay? You see that border around my board? That's about as creative as I can get, okay? I'm plain. I really don't think outside of the box. So I love seeing kids being able to think outside of the box and be creative. It's one of my favorite things. So with this activity, you're most definitely going to need that, okay? You're going to need to think out of the box and be a little bit creative with this. So thinking about my superpower I would write down as one of my 6 would be reaction time. Well, how does reaction time tie in with physical activity? So if I'm outside on a soccer field or on a basketball court or even on a football field and I had reaction time as my superpower, being able to move different ways laterally and forward would be fantastic because then I'd be able to move to the ball quicker and I'd be able to make a play better. So having good reaction time by all means ties in with physical activity. Again, I know this is going to be challenging, but I want to challenge you today, okay? I want to see how well you can interpret this and how well that you can step outside of the box and be creative with this, okay? By all means, I want you to use Google. By all means, I want you to use different pictures. Maybe that'll spark something in your mind. If you can't get all 6, but try your hardest, that's okay. At least if you get 3 or 4, I'll be totally happy with that. But again, that's not me saying don't try for 6. I'm just telling you, if you can't get to 6, that's okay. But try for at least 3 or 4. Again, this is going to be difficult. I want you to ask me questions. I will be here for you. I want you to revert back to the video because that's why I make these, so that you can go back and listen. I want you to use Google. I want you to use Google's pictures. And I want you to come up with different superpowers that will interact and intertwine with physical activity. So mine, for example, again, was reaction time. I could play sports better that way. If I'm on a basketball court or softball field and I'm trying to field a ground ball and I think about it too long, whereas if I had the actual reaction time superpower, I'd get to that ball real quick and I can make the play and have that person out. Okay? Yes, it's kind of cheating, but hey, that's okay. Right now, I just want you to think about superpowers, and I want you to get your mindset in this out-of-the-box thinking. Good luck. I'm here for you. I want to help you, but please use Google as well, too. That's why I'm giving you this time to go ahead and use Google and figure it out. Again, I'm giving you 6 to do. If you can't get all 6, try for at least 3 or 4. Try to the best of your ability and give it your best shot. Good luck. Since the video is over, that doesn't mean class is over just yet. Remember, I gave you 2 tasks to do today. One is the lesson on being grateful, and the other is the superpower activity, which I hope that you guys can grasp and understand, okay? But once you guys get done with that, or we get closer to the end of class, we're going to do our physical activity for the day, and we're going to do a couple of different workouts. So you guys will need to go ahead and get up when I tell you to, and we will go ahead and perform those activities. Otherwise, good job today. Keep up the hard work. Keep paying attention to my videos. I hope they're helping. And if you need anything, I'm here for you.